Hey guys, how's it going? Long time no see. For today, I want to be able to analyze one of the matches that I had at Purple Belt 4 Stripe. This was at the World Summit 2021, I believe. I don't think there's any markings for the year around here, but essentially it was at a Compinet 2021. This is going to be the IBJJF organization. My opponent, Jason, was super cool purple belt from, in fact, fresh purple belt, as you can see, no stripes, but a competitor, definitely, from GB Costa Mesa. Wonderful guy. It was awesome chatting with him before and after the matches. Um, Essentially, I want to be able to make a habit out of narrating these roles. Just, roles that I'll upload in the future. You might see little narrations here and there. I plan to do it with every single role that I have, and I'm going to choose roles that are either like this, competitions. It might even be of some of the people that I've coached, just to help them improve as well and and give myself better practice with coaching and narrating. But I'm going to see if I can upload most of the roles that are either challenging or intriguing, and see if we can break things down and learn a little bit. So here we go. Refs is combate. We shake our partner's hands, and here we go. Essentially, he grabs grips. He wants to be able to establish some sort of control as he pulls guard. He tries to go for a daily Hiva with that outside foot over here. Doesn't necessarily go, so he decides to release it and go for, well, almost a submission right away. I try to frame up with my forearm, preventing that submission from taking place. And now here we are in his preferred daily Hiva. This is pretty much a theme throughout the whole first part of this match here. I prevent the hooks by sort of stepping back, but at this point, my coach is screaming at me to try and step around the leg that I had pushed so I can get around one of his legs. His legs are being super annoying because, in all honesty, if he has both, then he's able to defend me or fend me off fairly well. If I can smash one of his legs or get rid of one of his legs, then that'll be a lot easier of a time. He has his grips though. He's unfortunately not letting me pass. I try to check with my hip and try to use my hips to sort of knock his legs off course. I could bring his leg across and go for a leg jab, but I decided to do a more flashy option, try to jump over his legs. Doesn't work. I don't get rewarded for the pass, and now a sweep occurred. He didn't get awarded the points for the sweep. I tried to get half guard. My opponent or my coach is also saying for me to get deep half, which I didn't know at the time. Unfortunate, but I tried to get some sort of guard back. As soon as he lifts me, I stand straight back up. Funny story here. For the takedown, as my professor is saying, go for the takedown, go for the takedown. I only had one takedown in the books, which was an arm spin from wrestling. My dad had actually pulled that off in the match prior to this one, so just before this, my dad had did the arm spin, um, competing at Masters. I forget what Masters bracket it was, but it was for ages over 50. I felt like I couldn't do the takedown that I wanted to do. Dang it, because he had already shown my cards. So here I am. Guard was pulled. I almost have a triangle set up, but now that's not the case. Again, my professor is saying kill the leg, step over it so that you can get half guard. Doesn't necessarily happen. No worries, we're in full guard. That's that. It's sometimes hard to listen to your coach. I try to go for, whatever choke that was. It ended up exposing my arm and going for the triangle. My hand's posted to the mat. He cinches it up even tighter. He's trying to pull my head down, trying to finish the choke right away. I try to stack him here. I don't necessarily know the escape for a triangle at this stage, which is a hole in my game here in this match. But he flips me, exposes my arm, goes for the arm bar, and I tap. And that's it. I mean, of course, have to be respectful to your opponent. I have to tie my belt, right? But that was that. It's tough being able to not have competition or have this be one of your first 10 competitions, because in all honesty, your first 10 competitions, your first 10 matches are gonna suck. and this one was no exception. I thought that I put up a pretty good fight, but in the end, he won, and it's hard taking that loss. Look at that. I'm all I'm all beaten and defeated here. The next match I'll narrate against Gabriel, the next match in this competition. I was a bit more upbeaten, but just to break down a couple things here. In fact, the only thing that I wanted to focus on here was the position that I could have gotten. As you can see, he can use his legs to sort of subdue me or trap an arm of some sort, which is eventually what he ended up doing. My legs and my guard weren't doing the exact same thing. Unfortunately, they weren't fully wrapped around him. They were sort of half wrapped, which is why we call it half guard. I could have used this hand to sort of go under his leg in order to get a deep inside position. At that point, I might have been able to slip out this back side, this back door, and maybe take his back here. Unfortunately, with my setup right now, I can't necessarily have audio here. Even if I tried to have audio, there's going to be no audio going right now. But my professor is absolutely screaming at me to go for that deep inside position, underhooking his leg. And unfortunately, that was just a hole in my game. I didn't know that position at all. Totally wish I did. That would have been a great opportunity to do so. Again, he gets his leg free eventually, and that was that. I try to recover full guard. He lifts me up, and we're back at square one again. Probably would have had a lot better of a chance now that I've studied more stand-up game, but this one, I put all my eggs in one basket, tried to learn one throw and one throw only. That wasn't a good idea because I felt like I couldn't do my only throw that I learned on account of my dad pulling it off in the previous match and doing it quite well. Like father, like son. He knew I was going for the same throw. This is where I wanted to capture right here. He tries to go for the same attack. If we go back maybe a little bit more, he tries to control my arm and tries to get his leg over my shoulder, which I'm able to get my shoulder out. As you can see, I'll try to shuck my shoulder or separate his legs. And now he doesn't have that same control. He has to sort of relinquish it a little bit and reposition. He eventually does so. Again, my professor screaming at me to kill the leg and step over. I do not do that. He reestablishes full guard. And this, again, this might work in sparring. This does not work in competition. What I was trying to do was basically a standing, just lapel crush choke that wouldn't have worked. Essentially, I push the far lapel across his neck, or my mistake, not the far lapel, but a lapel across his neck, pulling the other one taut, acting as a choke. I'm not even able to pull this submission off in sparring. Even now, with my current understanding, I'm not really able to get the same leverage that I would need to finish this choke. It's just not a choke that people tap to. So why would I pull it off in competition? I felt that was, a way to threaten. But casual jiu-jitsu does not work against a competitor. I had the idea of trapping his arm here. That wasn't necessarily fruitful. As soon as I try and swim that arm underneath, which by the way was a quick transition, as soon as he separated his legs, I try to swim this arm. Again, bad idea. As you can see, he'll just snatch up the triangle. Like, no question. Right? Swim the arm under, took the chance, swung his leg over the top. Now he has my shoulder covered, and now the submission is on. Able to get his figure four, able to push my arm to the side, pull my head down, doesn't work. I try to stack, he sweeps me instead. Very good job sweeping me there. Going for the finish. So, what I can pick from this in particular is don't go for dumb options, right? Just, again, learn as much about position as you can. That's kind of what competition does to you. You definitely get a feel for what the threats are in a competitive environment, and hopefully, you can learn how to defend against those various threats in time, or learn more about a position that you don't know what to do from in time. For me, that position was deep half guard, where I was in half guard, or just not having a knowledge of, or rather, an awareness of, say, a triangle, for example, or putting all my eggs in one basket for a takedown. Learning multiple takedowns, maybe. I'm at that level where I can learn multiple takedowns, right? I don't have to put all my eggs in one basket, which was my detriment. But as you'll see in my next couple roles here that I might narrate, I'm either on pure defense or trying to go for, stuff that doesn't necessarily work, especially in a competitive environment. So hopefully I'll be able to break more of these down in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys want to leave a comment, feel free to leave it below. And I'll see you guys later.